Hello, and welcome to our last session of Achieve Your Best Self. In today's session, we will dive a little deeper in the specific issues that affect our body composition as women. As well, I'll give you a few tips about what I call the last size down as opposed to the last 10 pounds. So, usually, as you get near your fat loss goals, that last size down can seem to take forever. So we will discuss why that is and how to overcome that. However, there is also another factor that is simply physiological where the body shape and size of woman is concerned. And we will dig a little deeper into this as well. So we will go through some of those specific challenges we face as women and learn to become more mindful of them so that we can be better equipped to deal with them once they arise. As women, part of the issue of body composition that in and of itself presents challenges and difficulties in our current societal norms of what a female body is supposed to look like. This adds further pressure and makes self-compassion that much more difficult. Let me clarify. I believe that the practice of self-compassion towards your eating habits and your body shape and size is of great importance to not just your overall health and happiness, but also your success in achieving your body goals. So let's say you're dress shopping and you have made great strides towards your goal already, and you're now at a size 10, still not a size 8 or 6, which may be your goal, but you need to get a dress for a party. So you try on dress after dress and begin to get down on yourself. You're still not looking like the models you've been made to believe you're supposed to look like. The cut of the dress you've tried on just doesn't fit right. It feels too tight in uncomfortable areas, and you're not comfortable in your own skin with this dress on. A big part of the problem is the fashion industry, unfortunately, due to whatever happens to be a fashionable design or fabric of the day. What you then do is get all down on yourself because clothes still do not fit you as you'd like them to. So going from shop to shop, you try on the same tight elastic material that is just not flattering. Which, let me remind you, what we consider to be flattering or beautiful are all shaped by society standards. So, you look at the clothing we used to wear 100, 200, 300 years ago compared to the clothes we are told are fashionable now. There is a huge difference, and you might understand why there is such struggle with body composition because our clothes today are tight-fitting. We're supposed to be revealing skin, and we're told that that is what's beautiful in a woman. So sometimes taking a step back when you're dress shopping to practice self-compassion and to remind yourself that you don't have to look any certain way, that you're going to wear whatever will help you feel good in your skin and not allow your negative judgments to drain your emotional energy. This takes time and practice to be able to put away your old habits and your automatic negative thoughts, and to be able to swim upstream against these societal norms and the media and all the marketing tactics out there. So, as always, the foundation of what we're trying to achieve is going to require patience with yourself and will require the practice of self-compassion. So, this is one of the most basic issues we all know we face as women. The fashion industry, the media, and all the marketing tactics that are out there telling us what we need to do and how we need to look. And we are all sort of swimming upstream against all these norms. So be mindful of it. Take a step back when you're beginning to feel shame or guilt or just negatively getting down on yourself for your body shape and size, and realize that you are fine and perfect just the way you are. Okay. Secondly, hormones affect us females to a huge degree, whether it's the female life stages we're going through at the time or that last size that we just can't seem to get down to are and can be affected by our hormones. So we will go through some of these specific challenges we face and learn to become more mindful of them again so that we can be better equipped to deal with them once they rise. What are these female life stages? Firstly, it all starts with menarche, our first menstrual cycle. There is significant hormonal changes that bring about physical changes in our body. We become more curvy as we turn into women, and it's not always easy to go through this change for young girls. It can be difficult, especially for those girls, I was one of them myself, who identify themselves more with the tomboy identity, and so they either don't enjoy turning into a woman or they're just plain shy about the feminine changes that are coming about. Perhaps you were taught to identify femininity with weakness, and so you subconsciously struggle against these changes that now signify you as a female. So, right now, do a quick inventory of your own experience at puberty. Was it easy for you, or was it difficult and challenging? Did you develop any unhealthy eating habits back then? Just do a quick review of those days and years and see if there was anything back then that may still be affecting you today. All right, now the second stage, I would identify that as the years from 25 to about 45 or 55. This is where most women are really able to tune into their cycles and recognize the ups and downs in hormone levels and how it affects their energy levels, their sleep, their moods, and even food cravings. It's important in this stage to become as familiar as you can with your cycles, to track your moods, your energy, any physical symptoms such as headaches, diarrhea, or cramps, as each of these would be telling of which organ system may be needing help during your cycles. This is also the stage where most women turn into mothers. Pregnancy brings with it, again, some obvious physiological changes that may stay with the body for the rest of your life, but also more significantly, it changes the woman's identity. You are now a nurturer, a caregiver, a mother, and this brings with it its own joys, but also some potential sorrows, as you may have to put your identity as a professional woman on hold. You may struggle to balance work and family, and you're also very sleep deprived, you're likely exhausted and emotionally, and also very likely nutritionally depleted, especially if you breastfed for many years. Okay, so again, things to be mindful of in this life cycle. Third, then comes perimenopause, around the time when your body begins to enter into menopause. You might find yourself not knowing what to do with yourself at this time, as your kids are gaining their independence. They may have already moved out of the house, and so your identity as a mother is no longer of much significance. And not only that, you're beginning to lose your fertility, what identified you as a woman usually, and that can bring about its own crisis. Perimenopause can be a very tumultuous time in most women's lives, not only in terms of their cycles, but also life events. So even if you've never identified yourself as a mother or you don't have children, you're likely questioning your life's direction right now, as you've lived half your life. And so what do you want to do for the rest of your precious life? So this time will be tumultuous if you resist the necessary re-examination of your life's purpose and goals. Fourth, you will eventually enter into menopause. So the time for perimenopause can vary from 1 year to 5 years to 6, 7 years for women. But you will eventually get to a point where you no longer go through the hormonal cyclical ups and downs of estrogen and progesterone, which bring about menstruation, and you enter into menopause, which Chinese medicine considers to be a time when a woman's body begins to preserve blood and energy in order to sustain her vitality and longevity and allow for the maximum available nourishment for her body. Therefore, the body in its wisdom reserves the flow of energy, and that is, I believe, the most positive, optimistic way we can look at menopause, which, again, in our society today, that is so against everything that has to do with aging, graying hair and wrinkles and softer bodies. In Chinese medicine, we look at menopause as a time when a woman enters what we call going from a mother to an enlightened and wise being. In many traditions, an older woman is considered that enlightened and wise woman who others go to for advice and help. And so remember that, in Chinese medicine, menopause is seen as true change in life, from mother to enlightened and wise being. This also translates into a slowing of metabolism, which makes fat loss that much more difficult. Here again, we have to be careful to not allow these societal norms that tend to put a war against aging to mess up our emotional well-being too much. So stay on track with health and your best self as your goal. You cannot go wrong. So, how do the various life stages affect our ability to maintain a healthy body composition? Well, it has to do with the variation in hormone levels from day to day and from year to year. First and foremost, as females, we have changes in hormone levels that can throw us off our path. They can bring confusion, cravings, guilt, sadness, and even rage, as it's difficult to deal with it all, especially if we're not aware of how each stage in our lives and each phase of our cycles affect us. So premenstrual changes may bring about one or all of the following changes in a woman the week or days prior to menses. There might be sleeplessness, cravings, mood changes, including irritability or depression. And so you need to be mindful to eat well, perhaps consider, most importantly, taking a multivitamin during this time. You may need to take your herbal anxiolytic or a remedy that helps calm you down. Or if you have very severe mood changes, consider prescription medication. Also, remember that it's okay to have more carbohydrates and more calories during this time. This is not a free ticket, but it is meant to bring about awareness so that if you find yourself going for second servings, or if you're hungry late at night the week prior, you are normal. Do not beat yourself up about it. Second, during perimenopause and menopause, your body will more easily accumulate fat. This very likely is an evolutionary protective mechanism, as it has been shown to protect a little bit of extra fat has been shown to be protective against the cold and flu in the elderly. Studies have shown that the elderly are more likely to survive a cold and a flu if they're slightly overweight. And we know that the simplest cold and flu is not so simple for the elderly, but a few extra pounds here have been shown to be protective. So to ensure your comfort as you begin to go through these hormonal changes, you want to make sure you are nourishing your body, specifically from a Chinese medicine perspective, your yin, and specific exercises such as rest, good sleep, exercises that are not too aggressive like yoga and Pilates and light weightlifting, as well as the yin nourishing foods can help prevent the symptoms that come with perimenopause, including insomnia, hot flashes, night sweats, and that sort of thing. So remember that here, lack of estrogen will contribute to weight gain, and there will be difficulties with your body's ability to regulate its temperature that then results in bad sleep and uncomfortable hot flashes. However, if you're sleeping well, if you're managing stress well, if you're eating well, although it is true that you're not 30 anymore and so your metabolism is not where it used to be, you can still enjoy life as a healthy 50, 60, or 70-year-old. Okay, so what is this about the last stress size? As you begin to notice changes in your body shape and size, remember, we're not weighing ourselves. We're going by the way our body shape and size looks and how we feel in our clothes. You will begin to notice huge changes 1 week, and you may not notice changes for weeks or months until the next drop in dress size. This is the body adjusting its set point, and you've got to be patient through these set point adjustments. However, you may eventually get to a point where the last size down is just not happening. This, in most women's cases, may be hormone-related or toxin-related. And so in both cases, a detox can be very helpful. The reason for this is that your body stores its toxins in fat cells. As your fat cells begin to shrink away, they also release the toxins that they've been holding on to. If your body is not clearing away these toxins in an efficient manner, it can create stagnation in the body, slowing down metabolic processes, and then leading to a complete stop in weight loss. So no matter how little you eat or how intensely you're exercising, the remaining fat cells are just not going anywhere. So what is detoxification? I hear the word thrown around as if it's a magical process that will forever transform your life. Looking for images actually for this slide, I saw one image titled Yoga Moves That Help You Detoxify. I love yoga, and I would actually recommend any kind of yoga practice as a detox aid. However, there are no certain moves that help you detoxify more than others, at least not from my humble opinion. Why do I say that? Well, let's learn a bit more about detox. First things first, know this, your body is constantly detoxing. It is right now detoxifying, and it has always been detoxifying. So what is detoxification and how do you? Our bodies detoxify the natural byproducts of our own metabolic processes. One of these toxins is, for example, carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is produced when the body uses oxygen to create energy from glucose. Carbon dioxide then gets detoxified through the lungs each time we exhale. Perhaps that is what that yoga move was intended, but any yoga practice that focuses on proper deep breathing is detoxifying. So you see where we can be really thrown off with all the marketing tactics out there? Let's learn a bit more about detoxification. So there are, just like carbon dioxide, there are numerous byproducts of natural processes that happen in the body requiring detoxification either through the liver, through the skin, lungs, kidneys, and or the large intestine. In addition, we have environmental toxins that are introduced into the body through the air we breathe and the food and drinks we consume. These also need to go through the same detoxification processes. Now, weight loss can bring about a burden to these detoxification processes. As we know, fat loss frees up toxins. So how can you help these processes to prevent sluggish detoxification? Here are a number of easy, natural, and safe methods of helping your body's natural detoxification processes. Firstly, you want to refrain from heavily toxin-laden foods and drinks or limit them. So we don't want to add any further toxins to our body. So staying away from alcohol, from heavily processed foods, from cigarettes, and if you're able to, from GMO products, because they contain a lot of glyphosate, because they are a huge amount, more than usual amounts of environmental toxins, which is a herbicide that is used heavily on GMO products. So nothing against genetically modified foods. You know, scientists have done wonders with how they are able to change the genetics of our vegetables. But if that means that they are now able to use heavy amounts of these herbicides so that we get, easy crops, but then the toxins such as glyphosate are more saturated in our food products, that just means that our bodies now have a heavier burden of toxins to detoxify. So if you can do your best to minimize those foods, then you're off to a great start already. But simply limiting alcohol, cigarettes, processed foods, you're already on your way. Next, infrared saunas are great if you have access to them, because one way of detoxification is through skin and sweating. So if you can remove toxins through your skin by sweating using infrared saunas, that's a wonderful, safe, and natural method of detoxification. Hot and cold showers also achieve the same, very similar purpose as infrared saunas, as they create a pump in the body with the cold water running over your skin. You are causing blood to go deep into your organs and your organs of detoxification. And with the warm water, you're bringing the blood close up to the skin surface where it can release the toxins. Lemon and apple cider vinegar help the liver in its detoxification process. So adding a teaspoon of lemon or apple cider vinegar in your water first thing in the morning can be a great way to kickstart your liver's detoxification processes. Greens. The more greens you have in your diet, the more you're able to detoxify heavy metals out of your system. Okay. Next, you might, depending on what's going on in your body and your specific organ system needs, you may need a liver aid such as turmeric, milk thistle, or dandelion root and or NAC. These are things that I'd rather we discuss in our one-on-one visit, as they have side effects that not everyone will do great with. Okay, lastly, caffeine and grapefruit are actually foods that help the liver's detoxification, but they only help boost one pathway in the liver. And so if the pathway that follows this is not working as efficiently, what you're actually doing is adding to the liver's burden with regards to detoxification. You are basically, if there's a bottleneck that in the processes where the liver needs to detoxify, smoothing one pathway where there's a bottleneck in another can actually cause further stagnation and further issues. And so that is why detoxification itself is usually an individualized process. So do not pick up a package from a health food store that's labeled detox. It will most likely not do much for you if it's not individualized to your specific needs. But these are some basic things to be mindful of and know that they will help you to a great degree. Okay, so what is this last stress size down? What can you do to get over this stubborn fat that is not moving? For females, the hormone estrogen can block the fat loss process. What you want to do then to overcome it is to eat as many anti-estrogenic foods as possible. The group of vegetables known as cruciferous vegetables, which includes broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, can really help the liver in its detoxification of estrogens. However, you want to make sure that these vegetables are lightly cooked. Otherwise, they can also present as foods that cause goiter formation. That is basically a thyroid condition that comes about as a result of iodine deficiency. What this specific group of vegetables can do is prevent iodine absorption, but they only achieve that when they're consumed in the raw form. So as long as you cook these vegetables, your thyroid will function as it should, and you will not experience a slowing of your metabolism. Next, you want to make sure you're supplementing with fish oils, you've got some flax oil in your diet, and you're eating wild-caught salmon for the omega-3s. In addition, as we discussed, leafy greens, whole oats and barley, legumes, and specific spices like turmeric and ginger can help with the body's detoxification of estrogen as well as other toxins. Next, from a physical activity perspective, no matter what you're doing right now, you want to change up your activity slightly. So if you're walking, maybe put in a little fast-paced walk every other minute. Or if you're hiking, increase your intensity. If you're lifting weights, change up the exercises you're doing and add to the weight of the dumbbells you're lifting. Okay, here's another last set of recommendations regarding these stubborn last few fat cells. Here are some practices that can help further boost your body's energy burning capacity. So again, alternating hot and cold showers where you are, when you're taking a shower, you want to be on the hot water for 5 minutes. Switch over to cold for 30 seconds, cold water as cold as you can take it. Switch over to hot for another 3 to 5 minutes, and again to cold for 30 seconds. And you want to alternate between hot and cold 3 times. Do it as much as you can, as frequently as you're able to. This basically is a bit of a shock to the body, and that shock basically causes your thyroid to increase its capacity to help to boost metabolism. Okay, the next thing that can help boost metabolism is the resistance exercises, because they cause your muscle cells to increase their mitochondria, the number of mitochondria in the cell, the mitochondria being the basic energy factories for your cells. They're basically where energy is produced from glucose. Okay, so the more of these mitochondria you have in your cells, the more fuel, the more fat you're burning at rest. Okay, you want to also stay away from potential food sensitivities, because certain foods that you are sensitive to can disrupt your thyroid function. Those specific foods are usually wheat and dairy. And so if you're finding that your thyroid and your metabolism is not where it needs to be, perhaps there's a food sensitivity that is messing up your thyroid function. This is just something to be mindful of. If you're finding that that might be a block in your ability to achieve your goals, let's discuss it in our one-on-one visits. Next, green tea or supplementation with EGCG, which is an extract of green tea, can help boost metabolism, and it is also a very wonderful and safe appetite suppressant. Next, you want to ensure sufficient nutrient intake by taking a high-quality multivitamin daily, because certain vitamin and mineral deficiencies can hamper or slow down your metabolism. So if your thyroid, which needs selenium and zinc and vitamin A for its optimum function, doesn't have these vitamins and minerals, then you might experience what's called subclinical hypothyroidism. This is where your lab results of your thyroid function are completely normal and within the normal reference range, but you present with symptoms of an underactive thyroid, such as low energy, constipation, or dry skin, among other symptoms. So be mindful that vitamin or mineral deficiency can contribute to a subclinical hypothyroid condition. Lastly, do not do the ketone or ketogenic diet. The results with ketogenic diets are only temporarily, and in reality, studies have shown that it does not cause an increase in metabolism or fat loss. Studies have shown the exact opposite, that it actually slows down fat loss. So do not fall for any of those fat diets out there that promote ketones or the ketogenic diet. Stick to the menu plan you've been given, and that is the best way to get insulin under control, to get your blood sugars under control, and to put your body in fat burning mode. Next, many resources speak of negative thoughts, beliefs, and the stories we tell ourselves that no longer serve us as emotional toxins that also require clearing. So for those of us who are maybe emotional eaters, I really highly recommend the series of books by Janine Roth. If you haven't already, please have a browse through and see if any of the books written by her resonate with you. Okay, now some basic guidelines for eating out, as I believe we all occasionally need to take a break from the kitchen, and we all eat out anyway, so let's have some guidelines here. You want to do your best to choose meals that are appropriately portioned in relation to the menu plan you were given. So, example, a burger with fries and Coke does not really serve you or your body or your fat loss goals. It's got 2 servings of grains. If you've got a Coke with it, that's empty calories, high sugar. It's unnecessary calories with no nutrients. Okay. If you want to eat healthily, you want to choose meals that come with a lot of veggies, perhaps some legumes, good proteins, and healthy fats. And if you can have grains as an option or go for root vegetables, that would be a healthy, complete meal. Okay. There are programs that prepare your meals. So if you're unable to cook healthy meals daily, there is a program called Chef's Table, where they basically deliver your ingredients for a healthy meal, and there's usually it comes with a recipe, so you can even get your teenagers involved in this way by ordering from Chef's Table, getting your ingredients delivered, and having a high quality meal that is prepared within 30 minutes on your table. As well, there's a company called Nutrition Works that works within London, and you can order your meals from them and they deliver as well. Next, there's good old-fashioned crock pots that are great for stews, soups, chilies, roasts. It takes 20 to 30 minutes of prep work first thing in the morning, but then you come home to delicious home-cooked meals. So this is not really a guide for eating out, this last one, but it is a way of easing your home cooking so that you are able to have nutritious meals without needing to spend too much time thinking about meal preps. So we're nearing the end of today's session, and I want to take a few minutes to remind you that this series of sessions and our visits so far have not been to help you achieve your specific body composition goals today. It was to teach you all you need to know to accomplish your goals in the next 2 months to 2 years, or however long it might take you. You are now equipped with the tools you need to achieve your body composition goals. Lastly, please offer your feedback by writing to me. Tell me what you've enjoyed about this program, anything you thought was missing, or any parts you feel can use an edit. Please give me your feedback. I'd really appreciate it. And if you feel moved to, please leave a review on RateMD or Google or Facebook. I've attached the link to these profiles, to my profiles and these resources in the email that you will receive with this session. Here, I'd like to take a couple minutes to review all we've learned in these series of sessions by summing up the last 6 sessions in 10 golden rules. So, what are these? If I had to sum up fat loss and a healthy lifestyle, it would go as this. First, remember to eat whole foods, staying away from processed foods of any kind, and prepare your own meals. As a food journalist discovered, if we prepare our own foods, even if it is potato chips or cookies, we're less likely to overindulge in them. So, rule number 1, eat whole foods as often as you're able to. Second, do not rely on willpower. As you remember from previous sessions, we only have so much willpower. And so sometimes the easiest way to make healthy eating possible is to clean up your environment as well as your social life if needed, as much as you can, to steer clear of those foods or those temptations that make you eat unhealthily. As well, don't let friends and family's discomfort with your changes bring about self-sabotage. Perhaps consider surrounding yourself with people who are also self-compassionate towards their body and their well-being, and not necessarily to cut ties with all those or with anyone who isn't self-compassionate towards themselves or who makes it difficult for you, but consider limiting your interactions. And it's better to be mindful of your 5 closest friends, 5 closest people to you, and consider how they may be helping or hindering your efforts at change. Third, In order to stop your brain from turning to food as comfort in times of stress, you have to have healthy go-to self-care practices. This is something that is a personal preference, and so you'll have to find out what it is that you enjoy doing. Is it a walk in the woods, a relaxing bath? Do you enjoy coloring, the adult coloring books? Do you enjoy reading, writing, drawing, cooking, baking, crafts, spa days, or whatever it may be for you that brings about calm and helps you overcome your stresses and anxieties and brings about a feeling of self-care and self-compassion for you. Okay, fourth, this fasting for 14 to 16 hours a day is a hard one to establish, I realize. But if you've tried it here and there and you so far have found it helpful, do not give up on it. It will become a habit in time. Continue to attempt it. Okay? 5, get fresh air daily if you're able to. Because our lifestyles and the climate we live in is not always conducive to time spent outdoors, it can be very difficult for our emotional and mental well-being, as fresh air is essential for our health and well-being. 6, get to bed before 11 p.m. if you're able to. So if you're not able to fall asleep or stay asleep for a minimum of 7.5 hours a night, consider getting help. So now I'm realizing that I've actually got 11 things listed here because I seem to have double the number 6. So that's okay. Number 6, 6 again, I should say. You want to make sure that your liver is functioning as well as it can for detoxification. And a point here to remember is that our mental and emotional stressors can also burden the liver from an energetic Chinese medicine perspective, which means then that it cannot perform its detoxification job as well as it can, causing a slowing down or a stagnation of fat loss. 7, eat mindfully. I have reminded you of this almost every session in all of our one-on-one visits, and please remember to continue practicing it. I know it is not always easy, and it will take time for it to become a habit, and that is why you're going to practice savoring the aroma, flavor, texture, look, and appreciation of your meals, and remembering that they are nourishing your body. Okay, 8, check in with your stomach regularly. So when you're feeling hungry, check and see what it wants. Does it want carbs and starchy foods today? Is it wanting a red, juicy steak? Is it needing a heaping side of veggies? Or does it want something salty and sweet today? It's okay to give your body what it needs as long as you take this moment to check in and find out, is it a real craving, or are you bored? Are you lonely? Are you emotionally tense? Are you anxious? Okay? And if it is not a true craving, consider giving your mental, emotional body what it needs from that perspective, as opposed to going for food. Okay. Next, you want to exercise, not for weight loss, because exercise does not actually do much for weight loss, but it helps boost mood. It helps boost your endurance and strength. It helps to increase your energy, and remember, it also strengthens willpower. So all of this will obviously indirectly affect your ability to lose fat, but you are not exercising to lose calories. You are not exercising to burn away the last meal you just had, okay? And our extra point here, remember your why. So remember why you're doing this. Why are you in this program? Remind yourself daily of your reasons for the changes you're making. And the more emotionally based your reasons are, the more likelihood you'll stick to your goals. So dig deep and find the emotions that drive you. And once you've got it, write it down. Really feel it and remind yourself of it daily. Perhaps write it on your bathroom mirror, put it on a card in your wallet. Have an object that symbolizes your reasons and leave it on your desk at work. Is it your kids or your grandkids? Is it for your mom or your sister? Or are you simply doing it because you know your body and soul deserve better? All right, there's been a lot of final words and last, emphasis, but this is, I promise, the last final words for today's session. So remember again, you now have the basic tools. The rest is your unique journey. So how you achieve your ideal body composition will be unique to you and your journey. Second, review these sessions as you need to refresh your memory and to deepen your understanding. And remember that at the end of the day, it's your goals and desires working against those old neuronal connections. The more you can strengthen new nerve connections, the more ease you will have as you reach closer and closer to your goals. Next, if you're able to, I recommend we continue our one-on-one sessions as needed. Also, if you're finding that you're struggling with emotional eating, whether it's due to stress or anxiety, you may benefit from regular acupuncture treatments, whether you do it through me or through your acupuncturist, okay? Next, consider attending live sessions. I will email you with regards to this. This current program is made such that anyone can join at any point. However, once or twice a year, I'm also going to be doing an additional 6 weeks where there will be weekly live sessions where you can attend to ask questions and gain further understanding and clarification regarding your specific issues. Also, listening to others who may be struggling with the same exact issues you are may help in you knowing you're not alone on your journey. I am here to help, and the support of a group during these twice yearly live sessions can also be very beneficial in helping you stay on track. Okay, so those were really my last words. I wish you all the best in your journey. Again, I cannot emphasize this enough, that patience with yourself and your practice of self-care and self-compassion are paramount in your ability to achieve your goals. So take care, practice self-compassion, and continue doing the wonderful work that you have been doing so far.